Well, I had bad plastic surgery.
Have you ever looked at a celebrity and thought, what happened? Like, they were absolute stunners back in the day, and now, well, let's just say things took a turn. Wild partying or chasing youth a little too hard, some stars went from fab to straight up yikes. From Hollywood heartthrobs to musical legends, today's lineup dives deep into some of the most shocking celebrity transformations, and trust us, it is not pretty. So, buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and get ready for a wild ride through the messy mix of fame, fortune, and some seriously unexpected twists. Without further ado, let's dive in. Mickey Rourke. Starting things with a person who shouldn't be on this list, but here he is. In many ways, we didn't expect Mickey Rourke, the man who once made hearts race in 9.5 weeks, to become a cautionary tale of what not to do with your face. See, back in the 80s, he was Hollywood's rugged heartthrob, with a chiseled jaw, smoldering eyes, and he had the whole package. But then came the 90s, and Mickey threw everyone a curveball. He decided to ditch acting for boxing. It seemed macho at the time, but the boxing ring was not kind to him. Broken bones and bruises were bad enough, but the real damage came later with botched surgeries to fix his face. And fixed? Well, that's debatable. Mickey admitted he picked the wrong surgeons, and boy, did it show. By the time he made his comeback in The Wrestler, people were less focused on his acting, which was stellar, by the way, but more focused on his completely unrecognizable appearance. A star turned tragedy, or a fighter who refuses to quit. Either way, Mickey's story has us staring. Speaking of jaw droppers, get ready for the next shocking transformation. Janice Dickinson. AKA, the world's first supermodel, Janice was the definition of glamorous in the 80s. She graced magazine covers and runways, embodying what it meant to be a fashion icon. But here's the twist. As the years passed on, Janice became obsessed with staying young, and that's when things went a little sideways. She went under the knife a lot. Facelifts, Botox, cheek implants, everything that was possible and available, you name it, she did it. And sadly, in her quest to freeze time, her face transformed into something more plastic than pretty. The surgeries piled up, and each tweak left her looking less and less like a supermodel and more like a face that had been through a funhouse mirror. And let's be honest, it didn't get better with age. Janice's face now looks like a map of every cosmetic decision she's ever made. She's always been open about her love for plastic surgery, but at this point, it's hard to ignore the toll it's taken. Did she possibly go too far? Maybe. Did she regret it? Who knows? But it's clear. Janice Dickinson's journey shows how far someone will go to stay on top of the world who's obsessed with beauty. Axel Rose. Okay, somehow this guy went from rock god to, well, we'll let you be the judge. This was the man who once had the world at his feet, and then things went sideways. Back in the Appetite for Destruction days, Axel was the epitome of rock star perfection. Lean, mean, and dangerous. He swaggered onto stages with a voice that could blow the roof off arenas and a look that screamed, I don't play by the rules. Leather pants, bandanas, those piercing eyes, he was a whole vibe. But fast forward to the 2000s, and Axel re-emerged looking a bit different. The long hiatus didn't just add mystery, it added pounds. I mean, who could forget that infamous 2011 Rock in Rio appearance? Fans were hit with a double take as Axel strutted out in a bright yellow trench coat. Twitter practically combusted with memes, and soon enough, rumors of a botched Botox, possible cheek implants and fillers swirled like a backstage scandal. Was it the surgeries, the rock and roll lifestyle catching up, or just the curse of time? Fans were torn as some defended him fiercely. He's still the GOAT, while others mourned the loss of that iconic wild child image. But here's the kicker. Does anyone really age gracefully in rock and roll? Or is this just some price of living the life louder than the amps? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Next up, guess which celebrity took their transformation to literal clown status? Stay tuned. Joselyn Wildenstein. Okay, this one is simply weird. Joselyn Wildenstein, or as the tabloids call her, Catwoman, is the walking, purring embodiment of too much of a good thing. Once a wealthy socialite living the high life with billionaire Alec Wildenstein, Joselyn had it all, until she didn't. Her descent into infamy began when she decided she wanted to look more, feline. Yes, you heard that right. Inspired by her pet lynx and a bizarre attempt to keep her husband's wandering eye, Joselyn went under the knife again and again. And the result? A face that defied nature and left jaws dropping for all the wrong reasons. Those wide eyes, exaggerated cheekbones, and unnaturally full lips became her trademark, but not in a good way. Divorce soon followed, along with a $2.5 billion settlement, but even that could not save her from the ridicule or the financial ruin she would later face. In the end, Joselyn's unapologetic attitude towards her transformation only added to the spectacle. Love it or hate it, she's leaned into her cat-like persona, and maybe that's the real shocker. So what's scarier, Joselyn's face or the pressure that drove her to it? And as you submit your answer, prepare yourself because the next celebrity disaster will shock you. Val Kilmer. At a point, Val Kilmer, the heartthrob from Top Gun and Tombstone, used to be the definition of rugged, blue-eyed perfection. Back in the day, he was the leading man Hollywood adored, but the journey from charming Iceman to the drastically different man we see today is anything but typical. Kilmer's transformation wasn't due to an obsession with cosmetic surgery like some stars, but in fact, his change is the result of something much more serious, a battle with throat cancer. See, in the early 2000s, Kilmer was diagnosed with the devastating illness, and the subsequent treatments, including surgeries and radiation, left an undeniable mark on his once boyish looks. His appearance began to change, with weight fluctuations, facial changes, and a noticeable loss of the vibrant presence that once made him a heartthrob. But somehow, despite this transformation, Kilmer has not let the physical toll of his illness define him. After all, his return to acting, notably in Top Gun Maverick, reminded audiences of his raw talent and unshakable resilience. But I guess the question now would be, would you still see him as iconic if he hadn't fought so hard against the odds? Brendan Fraser. We all remember the heartthrob from The Mummy, right? That charming, rugged adventurer who could battle mummies and still crack a joke? Fast forward a couple decades, and let's just say things have changed. After suffering a series of major health issues including back injuries, knee surgeries, and emotional turmoil from a nasty divorce, Fraser's body took a serious beating. All of this led to dramatic weight gain and a face that's almost unrecognizable from the fresh-faced action star of the late 1990s. It's like he went from the guy you wanted to be to the guy you didn't even recognize on the red carpet. Sure, people couldn't help but stare and comment. Heck, the internet even had its own field day with it. But it wasn't all doom and gloom, due to his comeback role in The Whale. Fraser made a triumphant return, taking on a role that involved gaining weight, and the whole world was like, oh okay, we get it now. What's crazy is how the man's transformation became a symbol of resilience and acceptance. But let's be real. Was it just a case of aging, or did life throw him a curveball? Or maybe, it's all just proof that talent really does endure, no matter the years. Donatella Versace. At a time, Donatella was the iconic queen of fashion, and a legacy as bold as her designs. Once a statuesque blonde with a natural elegance, Donatella's journey has been less about the runway and more about the transformation of her own look. After the tragic loss of her brother, Gianni Versace, in 1997, Donatella took the reins of the Versace empire, but somewhere along the way, she seemingly got a little too involved with the beauty treatments, and the result, a transformation that's as jarring as it is unforgettable. Over the years, her face has become almost unrecognizable, thanks to an ever-growing list of cosmetic procedures. From the full lips to the tight porcelain skin, it's hard not to notice how different she looks from the strikingly beautiful woman who once ruled the world of fashion. The public couldn't help but talk. Some say she's embraced her Versace style a bit too literally, while others argue she's merely reflecting the pressures of the industry and its expectations of perfection. Tara Reid. Where do we even begin? Once the it girl of the early 2000s, she starred in films like American Pie and Van Wilder, becoming the poster child for carefree fun and that quintessential party girl image. But somewhere along the way, Tara's carefree vibe took a drastic turn. After a series of, let's just say, questionable cosmetic surgeries, her appearance became a topic of wild speculation. I mean, do you remember the infamous liposuction disaster that left her with visible scars? The internet certainly didn't forget. But it wasn't just the surgery that failed. Tara's body, which once boasted that young, all-American look, began to show wear and tear of a life in the spotlight. Sadly, her aging process was accelerated by personal struggles and public controversies. and soon she was more talked about for her changing appearance than her actual acting. People couldn't help but notice the awkward contrast between the radiant party girl and the woman who now seemed out of sync with the Hollywood scene. Keith Richards. Today, Keith is known as the living legend, the rock and roll god who somehow defies both logic and science. If there's anyone who's turned the whole aging badly into an art form, it's gotta be him. Known for his wild days with the Rolling Stones, Keith's hard-partying, chain-smoking, alcohol-soaked lifestyle was practically his brand. And yet, somehow he's still here, rocking out on stage looking like he crawled out of a time capsule from the 60s. But let's not kid ourselves. Keith has aged, just not quite like everyone else. He's practically a walking fossil at this point, with weathered skin so wrinkled it could be mistaken for old leather, and a face that has seen decades of questionable decisions. And his hair? Well, it's more like a scruffy, tangled mess of "I woke up like this" vibe. But here's the crazy thing. It almost works. Keith somehow embodies this raw, rebellious energy and just refuses to fade and let it go. Sure, he looks like he's been through a few too many hurricanes, but that's kind of part of his charm, right? Liza Manelli. In many ways, Liza Manelli is a legend, no doubt, but let's just say the years have not been kind to her as her spectacular career deserves. Liza was the icon of the 70s, with her show-stopping performances, stunning voice, and razor-sharp style. But today, things have changed. Age and life's challenges have left their mark on the star, and she's not exactly the same glamorous figure she once was. Liza's health battles over the years, including a battle with a brain injury coupled with years of tough living, have definitely taken their toll. Sadly, her face now shows the effects of time and perhaps the heavy hand of cosmetic procedures gone wrong. The elegant, iconic look she once owned has been replaced with something a bit more unrecognizable, leaving fans wondering, is this the same Liza who once danced with the best of them? Despite all these changes, Liza's still got that star power. But let's be honest, her physical appearance has definitely been a topic of much chatter lately. And there you have it, folks. 10 celebrities whose transformations left us all gasping. From cautionary tales of cosmetic missteps to the resilience of stars battling life's curveballs. These stories remind us that fame doesn't grant immunity from the passage of time or personal challenges. Whether it's a Mickey Rourke boxing scar, Joselyn Wildenstein's feline aspirations, or Keith Richards' rock and roll immortality, each tale gives us a unique glimpse into the price of living in the limelight. But hey, who are we to judge? Aging is just part of the journey we're all on, and hopefully with fewer surgical detours like these ones. So, which celebrity's transformation shocked you the most? Or do you think aging gracefully is just a Hollywood myth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into the world of celebrity aging, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more wild tales and juicy updates from the land of glitz and glamour. Until next time, keep questioning, stay fabulous, and remember, sometimes the real glow-up is owning your own story, no matter how it unfolds. I hope to see you in the next video.